Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Techgig webinars, our endeavor to empower techies. We believe that sharing this knowledge is the key of enhancing our performances and for our growth as professionals. With this principle in mind, Techgig has initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give a quick insight of various domains. Today's session is first in the ERP system series, and topic for today's webinar is Managing Jobs in ERP. We are delighted to have Mr. Ayan Mukherjee, System Integrity Team Manager, SP Basis at the Linde Group as our guest speaker. Ayan comes with an impressive experience of over 15 years in delivering optimal results and business value via technology solutions and 11 plus years in SAP Basis in security administration. He has extensive experience in SAP Basis in security administration, network administration, infrastructure management, technical consultancy, user support, and enterprise services management. Gentlemen, this presentation will continue for next 45 minutes and we'll take your questions after the presentation. In the meanwhile, you can post your queries through the chat pane available in the webinar software. Without further ado, I introduce you to our guest speaker, Mr. Ayan.
Yeah, hi, welcome everybody. Welcome here in Techgig to join this webinar. Thanks for your time. This is Ayan Mukherjee and our topic today is specifically managing jobs in ERP. So this is hopefully to make the expectation clear that it's not that technically I'm not going to show you how you actually schedule jobs or specifically how to manage the jobs in ERP, but probably here I would like to look into a specific solution which can actually reduce your cost, optimize the resource utilization in across the industry where we have ERP and non-ERP solution operating in a complex landscape for the business. So specifically this area deals with the workload automation for batch jobs, where we look into that if we have around 20 ERP systems, we have around another 10 let's say non-ERP systems, how we can integrate the batch jobs running in all these 30 systems landscape and can be managed single-handedly from a single point of control. So please do ask your questions during the session. In case if I see that question is relevant during that specific time, I will definitely respond to that question, or definitely at the end of the session I will be happy to take your questions. Thank you. Okay. So when we actually go to the introduction slide, which gives you the which actually gives you about the basic agenda of the topic, that after investing majorly, because when we actually have an ERP landscape in an organization, we invest majorly, and the break-even point is reached maybe after 5 years or maybe after 6 years. We don't know. But managing the ERP software and the infrastructure poses a bigger challenge. The combination of high volume of workloads and user-initiated batch requests can strain even extensive computing processes, making it difficult to comply with SLAs. So definitely when we have a complex scenario in the organization with ERP and non-ERP systems, definitely there will be a lot of batch jobs can be running in the system. I have example where we have seen that around 10 to 12,000 jobs running specifically over a period of 3 to 4 days or maybe within a week, and it might go up during the month ends or the yearly closing. So while we have too many things coming up on the jobs, definitely there are a few things which we should actually keep into our mind. The specific issues which we can see here is specifically batch jobs normally frequently overrun their specified window. Secondly, it is difficult to predict when an overnight job will actually finish. So probably you see today the job takes 30 minutes to actually complete. Probably tomorrow during there might be some closing going on, some high load in the system. That job takes 2 hours to complete. So it is very difficult to predict. It depends on the system resources. And definitely you have your IT staff who is often called to deal with this production processing failures, and mostly it happens definitely during the peak times, peak closing periods, and whenever you have a high amount of business transactions going into the ERP systems. So we have other key issues as well in the next slide, which will actually come up shortly. So specifically the same thing which I just told you, there will be periodic spikes in the workload, such as during month-end closing, slow performance and result in failure to actually meet the SLAs. Again, the ERP application are not well integrated with the non-ERP application, making it difficult to automate processing across the enterprise. This is actually very important part here. We have seen that the ERP applications might be generating some file, and probably one of your non-ERP application picking up that file, processing it into a flat file, and probably sending into some other interfaces in some other company, maybe for an invoicing purpose, or suppose you are billing to the customer, probably that customer billing information should supposed to go to the bank from where the payments are generated automatically based on certain interfaces and connection. Probably you see that the ERP job is successful, but probably the non-ERP job is not picking up the file, and probably the half of the file has reached the bank, which what happens? Actually, we have inconsistency in data, and probably the IT staff will be actually spending a lot of time in actually checking the jobs, and definitely the ERP workload. And probably it also sometimes it also happens, we have seen in our practical experience that we suppose the bank, there is a bank mandate or it's a government mandate that you need to change the specific price of certain things or certain consumables maybe, and that should be effective specifically on a certain date or a certain time. And if you are not able to send the file to the bank or maybe to a government authority who are waiting for the file, probably you will not be able to bill your customers. So this is a very practical problem which happens. And in these cases, definitely there can be a job failure in your ERP application, there can be a job failure in a non-ERP application, and there can be a connectivity issue with your interface as well. So you don't know where to actually look for it. So probably you first try to attack the problem in the ERP. You take out the jobs, what are the dependent jobs, where actually it failed, where is the file. Then probably somebody else has to look into a non-ERP application, and you have to look, okay, it is okay from their end, probably the job has not failed there, but the file may have not reached. So these are the things we actually face typically in case of a complex landscape, complex business landscape where there's a lot of online transactions happening. So what is our challenge here? Specifically, if we consolidate into one word, the challenge is the part what we called an integration. So one major challenge is the need to integrate the ERP workload with other applications, both other ERP solutions and non-ERP applications, including legacy systems and IT infrastructure tasks such as backups. So it can also happen, that means what I told you just earlier in our earlier slide, it can also happen there is a missing integration link between two different ERP applications running. Probably one is the ERP application which is recording your online transaction, and some jobs is supposed to send the updates, so specifically maybe into a business warehouse ERP applications, we don't know. So it's a very complex landscape. So until or unless the data is consistent, we cannot manage a big landscape like this. So what is the trigger to actually go into or use an additional job management platform? That means how do we effectively align all these technologies so as to maximize both the IT operational efficiency and ERP business productivity. So our whole idea is here we have a challenge here to integrate, and specifically what we do to actually mitigate these challenges to gain our IT operational efficiency and get productivity. So now we come up with a solution which is the main thing of our discussion today. This is the batch job automation platform. So this batch job automation platform can help with all of the above issues what we just discussed. The batch job automation platform can help us realize the full business value from your ERP solutions. Its automation capabilities eliminate time-consuming manual tasks while also enabling us easily to integrate the ERP solutions with rest of your IT infrastructure. So what we are talking about? We are talking about a separate batch job automation platform, which when additionally used with your ERP and non-ERP solution can integrate all the total landscape of your business or the landscape of your organization, and from a single window you can manage your jobs. And specifically when you are able to actually manage all the jobs from a single window, what is happening here? Okay, I just stopped for a while and I have some questions out here. One of the questions here, please suggest the same of some ERP softwares which are cheap and best for medium-sized manufacturing industry. This is number one. And the second one I have, what is the use of SE37T code in SAP? So let us, when we have here, I think this is a very relevant question here. So example of ERP softwares, see there are a lot of ERP softwares in the market. Specifically, we have PeopleSoft, we have JD Edwards, and definitely the leader here is definitely SAP. So for small and medium-sized business, we have a SAP SMBS which is available in the market. So probably it's a good idea that you can go into the internet and probably search out which might fit the best in your organization. And secondly, there is a question, what is the use of SE37T code in SAP? Okay, this is also very relevant. The SE37 transaction code is specific to an ERP application called SAP. This is actually used to maintain or manage the jobs in SAP. So what we are doing here, what we are telling here is, we are not trying to manage the jobs from the ERP application. We are managing it separately from the ERP application, from a single window, from a batch job automation platform which is connected to your ERP application. So all the jobs you run and manage from SAP or any other ERP application can be scheduled and managed from a single window of this batch job automation platform. Hope this answers your questions. And okay, then moving on to the next slide, what we have. This gives me the details about the workload automation. Probably the slide is coming up. It's a bit slow. I'm sorry for that, but anyway, it's coming up. So fine. So it is the workload. The added job management application platform actually enhances and extends ERP in many ways. So how we actually, this is what we see, what are the advantages, this is what are the advantages out here, and for the workload automation. We schedule the workloads, include we actually, here if you see, I was just talking about what we actually do out here is we include multiple instances as well, ERP instances as well as non-ERP applications from a single point of control, and this enabling us to automate within, around and beyond ERP. This is the biggest advantage. So we are not limited to the ERP applications. We also can schedule the multiple instances, parallel processing for integrated between ERP and non-ERP applications running in your organization. And again, the another advantage, run multiple ERP instances and processes in sequence and in parallel, reducing job execution time. So specifically, we can run multiple ERP instances and processes. So this is a parallel processing which is coming up, which is very efficiently managed by this workload automation or a job management application platform. I'll just give you some example. There is also another example. There's another question that's coming up. This is also relevant. What type of software, non-ERP, can I integrate to SAP B1? Can you give some example? Okay, I will request Mr. Vijay, I think, but I can see. Just keep your question on hold for a specific, for some time, because I will have a specific example which gives you around the details about this. But to actually give you an example, it has a comprehensive cross-platform support including Unix, Linux, J2EE, ZOS, BS2000, HP 3000, HP NSK, Windows Server, OS 400, and lot more. These are very specific example. It can link with SAP, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards. So suppose, for example, you have a SAP application running and it sends data to maybe another ERP application in JD Edwards. You can manage the jobs for JD Edwards and SAP from a single window. That is the whole clear message. So this is the advantage of a job management application when you are using in your organization. Hope I'm able to give you an example and this clarifies your doubt. Okay, and there is another one. What we can see is dynamically set ERP variants, enabling us to fully automate the ERP processes. That is what I just told, that there can be 3 different ERP applications running in your organization. One is running JD Edwards, somebody is running PeopleSoft, and maybe another location is running SAP. And you want a single window of operation of managing the job, so you can manage it from this job application platform, automating in a single window for all these 3 ERP applications. And you can add on non-ERP applications as well. So when we move into the next slide, this also gives you certain examples. It is coming up. So it gives you query corporate databases and use the results to control job execution, providing you with real-time event-driven processing. So you can do a real-time job execution monitoring and you can control. So just like an example, you might have the first job running in your ERP application, the second job runs in your non-ERP application, and the third job again runs in some different ERP application. So these 3 jobs are dependent on each other. Now how do you control when you don't have a job platform application running? You have to first you have to run it in the ERP application, then you go to the non-ERP application, and then again you go to another ERP application and run it one by one. So this is a manual event-driven process. But when you actually use a job platform, what happens? You can schedule these 3 jobs in a single job plan and put a trigger on each job, that job A when finished, job B will run, and job B when finished, job C will run. Cross-platform, it can run anywhere if it is integrated. Secondly, apply extensive condition checks to job streams, giving you more sophisticated control over process execution. See, you can do a lot of flexibility. You have a lot of flexibility out here. How? You can actually apply extensive condition checks. So even you have 5 jobs running, one is dependent on the other, you can actually put in a lot of conditional checks, that and, or, this, that, this is dependent on that, probably it waits for a file to complete. So these are the jobs, these are the condition you can put in, and you have a good control over the execution of the job. Again, scan output files to check for data errors that might indicate problems and automatically take the necessary corrective options. So probably when you are actually through a job platform you are running, probably the first job is creating a file in an ERP application, and the second job is picking up that file from some folder Now you can put in another job which can run and scan the file and select that the records are correct and it is consistent, or the file is correct and consistent. Maybe that ERP application, whenever generates a file, it generates a file maybe size of 80 MB. Probably you have a limitation that you cannot send file more than 80 MB to a government authority through an interface. So probably you put a check with a job there that if the file which is created is more than 80 MB, please split up the file into 2 files and send it. So that you can also configure through another job. You can actually run scripts. You can attach scripts to a job and run it from the job application platform. So what happens, you can have a job which might be running every 15 minutes to check whether the file has come or not. And whenever the file has come, it triggers another job to pick up that file. Clear? Okay. There is one question which is coming up is, what are the T code in SAP to check, maintain and manage the SAP application successfully? Okay. So if it is, I understand your question clearly. You are asking about the managing the SAP portfolio, SAP scenario. The transactions mainly used for managing jobs in SAP is SM36, SM37. These are the main 2 transactions. Okay, thank you. So now we, when we have seen what are the advantages we actually get from a job management platform, probably here what we'll see what are the results which we are getting. As a result, we can gain efficiencies and save staff time by fully automating the ERP processes, including those that interact with the non-ERP applications. At the same time, we can improve performance and increase accuracy, and we do it all from a single point of control. So this is a centralized job application platform which controls all your application in your organization. In addition to these general benefits, each job platform and ERP solution includes other benefits specific to that solution. So this is something specific, like if you give examples like SAP, if you, since I feel there are a lot of people who are asking me questions are from SAP area. So specifically in case of an, if it is SAP, then we have job application platforms like UC4 available, Redwood available, and there are Control M, BMC, there are lots others. So probably depends on the organization and organization benefit and strategy that to go for which software. Just for an example, like if you go for UC4 software, one single license actually will give you the benefit of integrating the ERP and the non-ERP solutions. When you buy Redwood, probably it gives you only integrating the ERP applications. And when you want to integrate with Redwood with non-ERP applications, non-SAP applications, you have to pay more. So it depends what is the organization budget, how we actually try to manage it, and depends on the architects who are actually managing it. Okay, so now what I will do is I will give you a small example here, and this is related to UC4 and SAP, that how we see what actually how it enhances, how UC4 job management platform enhances mass data processing. So the standard SAP method for mass data processing, such as reconciling accounts, balancing billing data, generating payments, and running runs or updating master data, requires extensive manual scheduling and monitoring. This approach not only takes time away from other work, but also creates numerous sources of possible failures. So when you are actually, in case, this is an example of like kind of a in case of a month end, you have a lot of reconciliation going around in the system, and maybe there is whatever during the normal month processes, whatever it happens, it is in the peak load, and there are a lot of manual activities needs to be done. you run job A, then you run job B, then you run job C, then probably to complete E and come back to D. So all this can be automated, and the mass data processing can be controlled through batch jobs from a single window. So what UC4 can do, this is an example, as I told you, in related to SAP and UC4. This is valid for any other ERP applications with any other job application tool you are using. So UC4 can reduce the time required for these jobs by splitting up large jobs and running the resulting smaller data units in parallel. This is very important in case of a SAP BW or a business warehouse scenario, where actually you are creating some reports for the management, or management likes to see some reports at which contains high level of financial data. And probably when you run the batch jobs from SAP internally, what it actually happens is probably at a certain point of time it goes and fails and gives you either timeout or probably high amount of data not able to calculate. So in this case, what UC4 intelligently can understand that this is large jobs, and they can split the jobs and run in parallel. This is a very, very important topic. UC4 also automate many steps that otherwise would take up staff time and takes existing dependencies between processes into account when scheduling job runs. So it automatically, suppose you have already have some job plan built into your job application platform, and probably you are now in the same time, probably in the same system, you are trying to run some other job. So what it will do, it will intelligently show that these are the jobs which are running in the same time, and these are the functions of this job. So probably if you have other alternatives, please schedule this job in a different time. Probably it is able to calculate the workload also in the system, and probably if you don't have any other alternative, they will tell, okay, fine, we'll split up these jobs into, let's say, 5 jobs and run it in parallel. So these are not that somebody will tell you, but specifically when you actually practically do it, you will get these options coming up. As a result, what actually happened by using UC4 to automate mass processing of SAP data, you can increase your return of investment by up to 80%. Why? Because data will be consistent, it will be done more faster, you have higher amount of control, you have less resources being used to manage this. So it effectively total up to 80%. This is again, you can argue with me on this. This 80% figure is just a kind of a survey which gives up. Probably if you go to another job application platform, they might tell you that they will give you 85% return on investment. You can increase your return on investment. So this is an estimated market figure. This is a survey figure which has come up. And this is more or less the last slide which I will request. As I told you, I will take your questions and answers in the last. So probably if you can start sharing your questions one by one, I can go ahead and answer your questions.
Yeah, the questions are already shared with you. Can you please answer them?
Okay, I think I have already answered a few questions out here in that. So probably what is the use of AC37T code in SAP? Please suggest the name of some ERP software which are cheap and best for medium-sized manufacturing industry. This one, please give one example of multiple instances. Okay, probably this one I missed out, but probably I think it is now clear. Multiple instances I'm talking about specifically of different applications.
I've shared
So
3 more questions. Can you please look at them?
Okay. Okay, I'm getting some questions, so I'll take one by one. So the first one coming here is how we can we integrate SAP to non-SAP system. See, this is what the whole purpose is, that when you actually install your job application platform, they have certain executors, and when we actually have the executors installed, probably from the ERP application you can connect to the executors through RxC, and probably from non-SAP applications there are other functional calls you can connect to the executor. And probably when the executor is configured, you have added all those systems into the job application platform, you can start controlling your batch jobs running in those applications. Next one, does UC4 work on Unix? Definitely. As I told you, seamless integration with ERP and non-ERP applications, including, I'll also give you some more examples, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, SAP and others, comprehensive cross-platform support in Unix, Linux, Java, BS2000, HP 3000, HP NSK, Windows Server, OS 400 and lot more. So this is, and there is also why can't we, there is a very common question I think I should share with all of you, that why can't we do the job scheduling in the ERP system itself? So because since we already have a ERP system, but the best answer to this is that most of the ERP system have a batch scheduler which has limited capability and not scalable. We cannot scale it or rather integrate with other ERP applications running in the same platform. Actually, the ERP batch scheduler consists of an internal job scheduler that can be used for relatively simple scheduling tasks, such as setting a job variant and measuring dependencies. However, because it relies on outdated technology, it cannot fully leverage current ERP functionality, scale to support growing processing demands, or address more complex ERP automation challenges. These limitations result in degraded performance. So probably this is also another important aspect. So this is why you see that SAP has actually, for example, SAP has actually purchased, or rather purchased Redwood as their, Redwood used to be a third-party vendor, but now it is a part of SAP. So why? Because SAP itself is suggesting that you go for a batch of automation software. Because SAP knows that internally whatever the batch scheduler has cannot be scalable to much more higher up, so that it has this limitation, it cannot compete. So probably I've answered a few questions, and probably there is another important aspect. I think people are there from SAP, so I would just share it. The question can be like, can we automate system copies with this additional job management application? This is very, very important. How? Additional system copies, you are aware that it actually takes up a lot of time, because system copies has pre-steps. That means you need to make the system ready for the system copy. While after the system copy, you have some post steps that you have to actually do some 10 other steps to actually complete the whole system copy. So what happens? In a large ERP system, this is a headache with too many pre-post copy steps, which can be automated through dependent jobs, including the main copy. So it is like starting a job for the system copy, starts with pre-steps and all other dependent jobs run through and completes all processing and ends. You only need to monitor the jobs and relax. So probably every quarter you need to do a system copy, because some other developer or some other person want to have another training system where they will do the testing. So probably in that case, you don't have to do the manual steps every time. Once you do it, you just schedule it through the job management application platform, and next time when you have a system copy request, you just change the variant and run the system copy. It takes care of your pre-post steps as well as the system copy steps. So this is also another advantage. Okay, there is another example. Can UC4 be used along with SSIS? My apologies, I'll not getting what is SSIS is. Can you please clarify, please? Somebody asked me a question, can UC4 be used along with SSIS? Can you just explain what is SSIS is? I'm not able to get it. Okay, probably I think I have answered all your questions which have come up, and also shared a few more other advantages or other examples along with you. Can you please put in if you have any more questions regarding this? Okay, so I'm not getting any more questions out here, but definitely, like one more thing I just like to add here is, yes, please.
Yeah, I have one question which has been posted on techgig.com on webinar details page. This question has been asked by Swapnil Deshpande. The question is,
Okay.
is it possible to enter in SAP functional module with an experience of 6 months in domestic ERP?
Okay, so this is, I think I have seen that question, and probably have not answered that question, because this question is not pretty much relevant to the topic, because I think this is specifically a individual aspiration where he is into a small kind of a 6 months domestic ERP experience, and he wants to switch over and work in as a functional consultant.
Okay.
So this question is not relevant actually.
Okay, fine. So we will wait for some time. If people have any more questions, they can post.
Yes, definitely. This this webinar is open for questions, and probably in case anybody has any, I'm not able to answer any one of the question. Kindly please repeat your question if I have missed out any one of them. So I'm just putting it my last slide, and this is a thank you note to all of you, and probably an acknowledgement, because the data and the information, a few of the information has been, that's just like an example, has been taken from SAP and UC4. So this acknowledgement, that's why I mentioned in my last slide, because I'm using their copyright to provide some examples. So if you have any more questions, please you can come up. Anything else? Is Mr. Rizwan Ahmed still there? He just asked me a question on SSIS. I was just requesting if you can give me the details of SSIS. Probably I can answer your question, because I don't understand what SSIS is. Okay, the webinar is still open. You can still request if you have any more questions to ask about.
Yeah, I think most of the questions are answered. So if people have any other questions, they can post on the techgig.com and we can take the questions offline.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So now we can conclude this session.
Okay, thanks everybody. Thanks for your time and thanks for joining in. Hope I was able to give you a brief overview how this job management application Perform can enhance your ERP and non-ERP application in your organization. In case of any more questions, any other details, kindly post your questions in Techgig. I'll be happy to answer those. Thanks for your time. Thanks for attending. Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Ayan, for your informative session on managing jobs in ERP. It was indeed an enlightening session. I would also like to thank our participants for their support in making this webinar a huge success. The recording of this webinar will be available on techgig.com by tomorrow. The next session in ERP system series is happening on Monday, February 27, 2012 at 5 p.m. Topic for the webinar is business process mapping to an ERP system and bridging gaps. We will be having Mr. Gurdeep Singh Bhatia, General Manager IT at Redington India Limited as our guest speaker. So see you all on Monday at 5 p.m. Thank you.